Alright, I made a point recently that anime is mostly made to sell the origin source material, like the manga, novels, and games. Hence why the shows never really finish the story from beginning to end, which makes you want to buy the manga or the games just so you can find out how it all ends. But when a certain title gets extremely popular by the huge masses, anime is no exception to that well-known tradition of exploitation. In most cases, the popular anime will continue with a second season, whether it relates to the original source material or not. In other cases, they make a live-action adaptation. To be fair, Japan can be subtle with some live-action adaptations, such as Death Note. I love the live-action movies of Death Note, so given the right circumstances, live-action adaptations of anime can be good if done right. And then we have Attack on Titan. The hype was real, and it was huge. With all the trailers, screenshots, and commercials with Titans chasing Toyota vehicles, we were given the notion that this was going to be an epic beyond epic movie for us to enjoy. That statement alone, however, can be said for a lot of hopefuls that ended being gigantic busts. Looking at you, Pixels! So what's wrong with the movie? Well, let's go over the plot first for any one soul who has never read the manga or seen the anime. Several hundred years ago, humans were extremely exterminated by Titans. Titans are typically several stories tall, seem to have no intelligence, devour human beings, and worst of all, seem to do it for pleasure rather than as a food source. A small percentage of humanity survive by walling themselves in a city protected by extremely high walls, even taller than the biggest Titan. Flash forward to the present, and the city has not seen a Titan in over 100 years. Teenage boy Eren and his foster sister Mikasa witness something horrific as the city walls are destroyed by a colossal Titan that appears out of thin air. As the smaller Titans flood the city, the two kids watch in horror as their mother is murdered and eaten. Eren vows that he will exterminate every single Titan and take revenge for all of mankind. Now, after watching this movie, what can I say is wrong with this movie? Well, there are several flaws. Several horrific flaws that left me speechless. Yeah, I just can't seem to fathom the right words to start this movie. Kenny? Can I borrow your words real quick?
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I watched this movie along with my friend Kenny, and boy, did he have a few choice words. Let's see. Lol, what was wrong with this movie? Well, Mikasa was like a housewife at the start. Eren was an idiotic teenager rather than a hot-blooded youth. Armin was sold to me like he was Donatello making any shit he can. The Scout Corps had guns and vehicles instead of horses. Annie was completely written off along with Levi. No armored Titan. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Okay, now go warn the masses and stop them from seeing this movie in theaters. P.S. There's going to be a part 2 in a couple of months. Wait, part 2? So yeah, let's just start with the statement of, did they get anything right in this movie? The characters. All of the characters were nothing like the original. Eren was flat out stupid. Armin was given a skill while having his entire personality removed. Mikasa felt like she was only there to stand around looking in awe for the trailers, and one of my favorite characters, Hanji, was more of an angry, obsessed researcher rather than a wacky, obsessed researcher. I can go on and on about how awful these characters are, but this review will take too long. Plus, where's Annie? Where's Levi? If you're gonna try to be lazy and slip them into the second part of the movie, then may all your potatoes rot in hell. If there's one thing the movie lacks the most and can pretty much sum up this movie entirely, is effort. What I mean is, there are effects, which means there was some effort put into the movie, but it felt like they settled rather than bring in the movie to a grander scale that they promised it would be. While the actors put their all into the characters, they had to settle with how their characters were badly written. Instead of staying true to the setting of the original source material, the villagers looked a lot more poor with a very cluttered town that made them look even more poor. While I know the most outer wall had the least financially stable civilians, I don't think their living situation looked that bad. That and could they really not afford horses? I mean, come on. Trucks? Rifles? Settled? Much? As for the special effects, let's compare, shall we? I know it's unfair, but I must. With the original anime, A1 Animation did an incredible job bringing Attack on Titan to life in such a grand scale, not only with the use of color to set the right atmosphere, but how the animation brilliantly moved us along with the flying scout corps as we soared through the skies fighting gigantic titans. It was incredible to witness and deserves its hype for giving us an amazing experience. As for the movie... Wow. It hardly seems fair to even compare, but I did. There's not much flying unless you count being pulled from point A to point B, plus everything turned really dark after the Titans attack. Well, that goes without saying, but I mean, can you see anything? The effects are so bland, the setting is so bland, and we can't really see anything since the movie is mostly portrayed in the dark. Now what about the Titans? Looking back on the original versions, the Titans are just a thing of their own nature. Although they look very silly with those big grins and lifeless eyes, they were intimidating and downright scary to face for our heroes. Here, you can barely make out what they look like with how bland their colors are. I know I keep using the term bland a lot, but it's the perfect word for this movie! Bland! Did Tim Burton get his hands on this movie? Because these Titans, let alone the setting when they're in the shot, look like something he would have been coloring with his quote-unquote unique touch of black and white colors. That is, of course, with the exception of the Colossal Titan, who we never see again. And of course, spoiler warning to those who haven't seen or read Attack on Titan, Titan Eren. To this movie's credit, the movie has some improvement the very minute Titan Eren makes an appearance. He is the one Titan that looks relatively cool and has the most badass / hilarious shots with him fighting the other Titans. Other than that, the Titans just look awkward. And that's saying a lot. And on one final note, heaven forbid you edit a decent bloodshed effect, but the one bit of effort you actually put into this movie is the Titans' drool. Titan drool and plenty of it. Being inside the mouth is one thing, but wow, their mouths are moist when they slightly open them. Very bad blood effects, overly done drool effects. I can see your priorities? Overall, this live-action adaptation of Attack on Titan is a bust for me. The effects are bad, the overall appearance of the setting and the environment is bland, and the characters are not interesting at all. Although I never seriously got into the series like most people, I could sense why the show was loved by thousands. Memorable characters, beautifully unforgettable animation, what's not to love? This movie has none of that, and yet it tried, keyword tried, to compress everything you loved about the show, from at least the first 13 episodes into an hour-and-a-half movie. You heard me right, this grand, epic movie we all wanted compressed the first 13 episodes into a bland, colorless, forgetful board fest that only lasted 1 hour and 30 minutes. If we can put up with blue cat-like aliens for 3 hours, you can at least give us another half hour just to at least give this story a little more room. Nice try, people, but this movie was a huge disappointment to me and several of my friends. If you want to see it, I guess you'll at least enjoy the Titan Eren scenes. Other than that, not one good thing came out of this movie. That is, unless you're into so bad, so good movies, in which I can at least say, maybe you'll like how awkward it all is. Read the manga, watch the show, put Gurren no Yumiya on your playlist as an epic song to come out of an anime, and try to avoid this movie unless you're curious to see how bad Attack on Titan is as a live-action adaptation. Hey, we got a website. You should check it out. Link is in the description box down below. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, so follow us. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe to Anime America Podcast for more awesome reviews. If you're interested in anything of pop culture, check out our other awesome channel, Pop Spectrum. You'll be glad you did. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned to Anime America.